because the city has given me a lot, and I have also tried to give back a little bit through my historical research on pre-independence Bombay cinema over the last decade and more. And this research has taken me all across Bombay, but also to multiple continents to track the early practitioners of Bombay cinema, those who helped build this dynamic and powerful media industry that we call, some of us call, Bollywood today. And the fruits of that research are in the first book that I wrote. I was oddly resonating with Ashok Kumar's character. मैंने भी 5 एग्जाम में पास किए हैं और एक किताब लिखी है. So that first book is called Bombay Hustle, Making Movies in a Colonial City. It came out in 2020. And in that book, I was very specifically interested in the material practices, the techniques and the labor that went into the creation of Bombay cinema as we know it, and the practitioners, what I call cine workers. That's not just the stars, not just the directors, but the many, many technicians and talents that it takes to make a movie. And this search took me, and it might be surprising to some, it took me to Melbourne, Australia in 2010, where I met, and you will soon meet, Peter Dietz, who was the grandson of Himanshu Rai, and his first wife, Mary Heinlein. Thank you, Peter. I can't see you through these blinding lights, for welcoming me into your family's archives. And then in 2013, I landed up in Moira, Goa, where I met Joseph Worshing, George Worshing, and their beautiful parents, Wolfgang Peter Worshing and Rosamma Worshing. Thank you again to the Worshing family for your generosity. Many others have also shared their family stories with me along the way. I just want to mention some of those names. So the administrative brains of Bombay Talkies, which was established in 1934, was Rai Bahadur Chunilal. I met Rai Bahadur Chunilal's daughter Shanti Mahendru, who some of you might know as the sister of Madan Mohan and mother of Anju Mahendru. I also met Colin Pal, who was the grandson of Niranjan Pal, who was a screenwriter for Bombay Talkies, and an anti-colonial radical who really believed that cinema could be a force for political and social reform. And you can see some of that reformist messaging in this film, though it's not written by Niranjan Pal. I also met Ram Chitnis, who was a makeup artist, what in filmy lingo we call a makeup dada. And that history of makeup is its own very under-researched kind of a history, connected to history of lighting, history of color. But this research showed me how complex the history of Indian cinema is, located across multiple cities, even continents, and made up of thousands of people. Anyone in this room that's ever been on a film set knows that films are never made by one individual. We all know that it takes a village to raise a child. I really think it takes a city to make a movie. And this brings me to the book that we are launching, again, Bombay launch tonight. And I just want to read out something that we've written in the blurb for those that might not know the whole context. So it's a very interesting photo anthology, and it brings to you some never before seen, absolutely unprecedented, behind the scenes production stills that many were shot and all of them collected and archived by Joseph Worshing, who was the cinematographer of Bombay Talkies. Bombay Talkies was founded in 1934 by a husband and wife duo, Himanshu Rai and Devika Rani, who had previously worked and met in Germany. After the Nazis' rise to power, the largest German film studios of the day were taken over for propaganda purposes, which restricted the creative freedoms of filmmakers. At the same time, new sound technologies made it possible to make Indian films in Indian languages for Indian audiences. Himanshu Rai and Devika Rani decided to start their own film studio in Bombay and invited their German colleagues to join them. So some of the biggest hits of Bombay Talkies were made by a multilingual and transnational collective, including Franz Osten, the director of today's film, Joseph Worshing, the cinematographer of today's film, Devika Rani, Niranjan Pal, and of course Ashok Kumar. And as you would have already glimpsed, the film has played the studio has played a foundational role in setting some very important templates that you continue to see in mainstream Bombay cinema today. Um, I won't take up all of the time this evening, but I just want to point to something that Rahab also pointed to. That we are also here, it's a very spatially poignant evening because we're here at Regal Cinema, a cinema that opened in 1933. So just a year before Bombay Talkies was gearing up to get inaugurated. Right across from us on Colaba Causeway is the Majestic Hotel, where Joseph Boissin stayed on one of his first visits to the city. And you can't see the hotel is covered with scaffolding right now. Down the street, behind Flora Fountain, is Ready Money Mansion, which still exists, where Himanshu Rai set up the corporate address for his studio because the ready money deals with financiers for filmmaking were better situated in the business district rather than in Malad, where the studio was, which at that time was a very distant rural and agricultural suburb that was not really considered part of the city. And behind us is the Gateway of India, where a large portion of Bombay Talkies is one of its earliest films, Always Tell Your Wife, Mia Bibi, was shot. So I just wanted to kind of open up all these multi-layered things that are coming together for us today with this screening, with the exhibition that's on at the CSMVS. And I just want to thank you for being here today. It's a very, very meaningful and memorable evening for some of us, at least in the room. Thank you.